If your TV sounds funny in the evening, you're watching live from Studio 6B on Real America's Voice.
And it is live from Studio 6B on a Friday night at the America First Warehouse, Long Island, New York. Glad you're in. Live on all socials for Live from Studio 6B. Real America's Voice will join us in a little bit. And, of course, 103.9 LI News Radio all over Long Island, Suffolk County, Long Island. Welcome on in, everybody, to a Friday night right here live at the America First Warehouse, where we are always excited to be with a room full of Patriots on a Friday night. Thanks to Joe the Box and his whole great crew here. Always so welcoming to have us here. The boys are, well, almost all here. Kevin Downey Jr. is off tonight because he's got a comedy gig. Well, I don't know, somewhere.
Saratoga
Springs. That's right.
Saratoga Springs.
That's right. I was gonna wire him some money to put on the 9-horse in the 4th race, but I didn't do it. So.
But you have no money?
Yeah, exactly. Slick's here. He's going to do some sports. Slickster, how are you?
Doing good, Big D, on a Friday night.
How was your day?
Fantastic. Great day.
You got noticed somewhere again.
I did. I ran into a few fans of the show. I was at a client sitting at the bar, and sure enough, a couple of folks local. Fantastic. Watch the show. Love the show.
Seems to be happening more and more to you, Slick.
Yeah, must be at the bar too much. I don't know.
You're easy to spot.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so what's coming up in sports? Anything exciting?
Well, yeah, Wimbledon. We got the men's final all set there today. Djokovic obviously exited today, so we're going to look forward to that. John Jones is getting tickled pink over maybe a White House bout. Him and Conor McGregor, let's talk about that. And the Harbaugh brothers met with President Trump yesterday, so I want to talk about that too from the NFL.
All right, we'll get to all that in sports. Sports is brought to you by our friend, of course, Mike Lindell. They sponsor sports. We'll get to Slick with that. Vinnie Mac is here. Vinnie Mac, how are you?
I'm doing really well because I discovered a new talent today. A really great singer.
Not playing the piano, maybe?
No, I discovered a great talent. Slick and I did a little duet earlier.
Oh, yeah.
And, we sang a little Let It Be, and he was outstanding.
Oh, yeah,
He could carry a note, and I think there might be a career there.
Well, no, it wasn't outstanding. I posted it on social so everybody can see and hear it.
That was you?
Yeah.
I had no idea that was you. Why would you do such a thing?
It was terrible.
Damon Downer, as always.
You guys couldn't carry a tune with handles on it.
Did anybody hear it? No, nobody heard it.
Come on.
I don't understand this.
Trust me, nobody wants to.
Yeah, exactly. Trust us.
Aaron, roll that clip.
It stunk out loud.
My computer, I don't think, is working, so I can't even play it from here, which is a good thing. But how was the rest of your day?
Yeah. The day was real good. I had an extremely busy day looking through all the Epstein files. So, I'm probably one of the few people that got that. So it was a busy day.
Okay.
I didn't do much today.
We'll talk about all of that. Well, you don't do anything any day. So,
Thank you.
Rick Delgado's here. Mr. Delgado, how are you?
Oh, my goodness. Do you really want to know how I am?
Of course. Yeah, well,
I got a big bag of I told you so.
Well, I don't know.
Ready to dip in.
Maybe.
And throw at you.
Well, let's not get crazy.
Like a monkey throwing feces. I'm going to be just doing this.
Oh, that's a nice analogy. Good.
Thank you.
So I got to get him some monkey diapers.
I don't know if you have a whole bag of
I got a whole bag. I got a whole bag for you.
Well, you have nothing for me,
You
first
watch.
of all. All right. Well, we'll see what
Other than that, I had a fun day.
Forget about it.
Yes. Okay. I went to see our mutual connection,
your
mutual
contact?
source.
Yeah.
And he filled me in with his own theory on the whole shebang that's happening this week as well.
I'm sure he did. He's as nuts as you are.
Okay.
Is he not?
And he says hello.
I know. He's one of my best friends. But he's crazy, too.
A little bit.
Yeah, so that's fine. Paul Nolan's here. Mr. Nolan, how are you?
I am well, my friend.
How was your day?
It was a very productive day, but I actually got to tell people to work today. I delegated all the work. I watched it. I smoked the stogie.
Yeah.
I didn't lift a finger. It was terrific.
Welcome to my day.
Yeah.
One of the ones from that guy?
Yeah.
Those are good.
They are fantastic. Thank you, that guy.
good.
Yeah.
Stogies are nice.
Those are very, very good. So, well, the boys will all have their own news. We'll do sports with Slick, but there's lots to talk about, obviously. And as Delgado said, we have to start, even though I feel like they've talked about it a lot all week. But today was just a day where it seemed like every 5 minutes it was a different thing. And that, of course, is all over the Epstein handling. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel. Well, Kash was kind of thrown in late. It was it broke that it was Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino. So news broke that Bongino was really having a moment, which right off the bat I said, because Bongino has not been silent on this issue. Bongino has basically been thrown under the bus by a lot of people who thought that he would never go even where he's gone so far, which is to say, hey, I looked at everything. he killed himself. And everybody was like, this guy, what happened? Do you remember we went through this? What happened to this guy?
And remember, I pointed out
he's bought and paid for.
I pointed out exactly what he said. He didn't say anything that wasn't an opinion. He said, based on what's in the file, he said Epstein killed himself. He repeated that a few times. He said, based on what I've seen in the file. So which means he's not talking about stuff that maybe he's investigated, that other things that they found, the stuff that they had, that they were presented with in the file, and it's very clear. He says those 3 words, in the file. That's what he's basing that statement on. Well, now, of course, it broke earlier today that he's told people he's considering resigning after being outraged by Attorney General Pam Bondi, who I said she needs to go because she handled this. And Kevin Downey Jr. mentioned the word messy the other day, right, Paul?
Absolutely.
Best way to describe it. It was messy, and it didn't need to happen this way.
It was funny. It really looked like she was desperate for a PR win when she had all those, I guess, let's call it conservative ink.
Right.
All of the Johnny-come-lately, conspiracy, right-wing people, all waving their redacted banners of stuff that has already been public, but now even
the
more
binders.
redacted. And on top of that, like all the stuff that like people like Tom Fitton, serious people, have been demanding FOIA requests for, nothing in there either. But she's looking for this win for her PR. For what reason? Over her skis. Doesn't really belong there. Time to go. She's made a mess of this thing.
Well, don't you think that if she came out with this comment, I would think Trump would know about this, and he wouldn't just let her come out with that answer.
100%.
He would not just say they would be. This guy does not want surprises. Number one, he's not that kind of guy. He wants to know what's going on, and I think number two, if whatever she said, he's on board with whatever she said for whatever reason. There's been talk about he might have reasons for doing this, which might be helping him manage the deep state or any of those kinds of things. But she doesn't say this unscripted in a cabinet meeting, without Trump knowing about it. I don't think so.
You're talking about when she handed out the dossiers to all the.
No, I'm talking about at the cabinet meeting.
No, the cabinet meeting.
But we're talking about the bloggers. That's what I was talking about. When she put that out, I think she did that more on her own, more than anything else. I don't think that was, Trump micromanaging every single person. You hire these people because he's got a couple wars to deal with. He's got a billion immigrants to deal with. Yep. He's got pharmaceutical problems. He's got energy problems. How many hours in the day could one guy? That's where you delegate your authority. So I thought she got ahead of herself. I don't think she should have made that PR win for herself back when, because it blew up in her face now.
Yeah.
Well, so let's just get back to today. So Bongino, we hear rumors that Bongino's saying it's either her or me.
Yeah.
Right. Now, obviously, we have not heard from him that's confirmed. We have heard from John Solomon. Now, I guess, Aaron, do we have sound on this yet or at all? Still nothing. Well, so Solomon's out tonight, and Solomon says the rumors of so later in the day we heard Kash Patel also might be throwing his name into the ring if Bongino goes, I'm going.
Right.
Well, Solomon absolutely shoots that down tonight in our reporting on Rav from about an hour ago. Kash Patel rumors of leaving are not true, John Solomon says. That's number one.
And one of the big points, and I agree with him because it makes a lot of sense, is that there's a big investigation going on that Patel wanted to dive into, and that is what happened leading up to the 2016 election and the Russia dossier, that whole investigation with Comey and Brennan and everybody and the Clintons. He dove into that, and I think that's probably his number one thing he wants to make sure he can tackle. So I don't think that's why he would leave, but I think it's a little bit of a pressure point to say, look, I've got all this, and we've been working on it, but if she continues to be out here messing things up for us, which she did on Monday during that cabinet meeting, I could see him going, you know what? I got my reputation, I got everything. I don't need to have this person in front of me causing problems.
Which she did at the cabinet meeting?
Yeah, she did. By saying that there was nothing there.
At the cabinet meeting, right?
I understand that. But he spoke before she did. He said, why are we still talking about this? Blah, blah, blah. We've got this one. We've got this. We got the Texas flood. We should be talking about that.
And then he said to her, you can answer if you want to.
If you want to. And what she did, her answer was such a mess, he was probably thinking, I should have told her not to say anything. because she
should have picked up on that cue.
Right. She should have said, you know what,
boss
you're right.
just spoke.
Right.
There's no reason for you to speak at this point.
Exactly. This is what we should be talking about. Thanks for your question. If you want, I'll answer that later on the side. But I think that she caused a complete... We're talking about it on Friday. It was Monday.
To me, there's an old rule, like the more you BS, the more it sounds like BS.
Right.
Once Trump stomped it out, which I don't like one bit, I'm not giving him a pass on this yet. She should have shut her mouth, in my opinion. Why add more to it? Why? There's so much speculation right now on. If you're not MAGA and you're not disappointed by this list, because look, it was the Rosetta Stone supposedly to break down all of these people who, like Barney Franks and all these lifelong guys who've been compromised, and we know it. The Gateses, the Bidens, the Clintons, all of these people have done such heinous things towards liberty in America, the erosion of our freedoms, the raising of our taxes, to treat us like debt slaves on their farm of we're just peasants. I've had it. Like, I'm boiling over it, to be completely honest with you. I know most of you guys maybe he's holding that leverage. I'll give you that. But for me, at this point right now, this is a massive loss for MAGA. It's putting a stake in the heart of MAGA, in my opinion. It's a wedge that's going to hurt this movement at the midterms, because I'm telling you, there's an optic war at all times, always, and I still believe the big problem here is all the moderates, young people especially, who won that election for him, essentially, was the anti-war side of it, and it was the kill the corruption side of it.
Right.
And they're disgusted.
And there are names. It doesn't have to be a list that was, this is the list that Jeffrey Epstein himself held. That's not what we're talking about. We want to see who was visiting that island and who was potentially were the ones that these kids were trafficked to, right? That's what we want to see. Even Alan Dershowitz is calling for it, and he's been named in these. His is one of the names that is inside this this quote unquote list. These files. If you want to play the clip, I got a clip of Alan Dershowitz going off. Here's cut number 2. Here's Alan Dershowitz talking about the Jeffrey Epstein list, and he says he knows there are names on there. He's seen it. Cut number 2.
I tell you, I know for a fact documents are being suppressed. And they're being suppressed to protect individuals. I know the names of the individuals. I know why they're being suppressed. I know who's suppressing them. But I'm bound by confidentiality from a judge and cases, and I can't disclose what I know. But I hand to God, I know the names of people whose files are being suppressed in order to protect them. And that's wrong. We want total transparency on this. Every single document, no redaction. That's what I've said from day one. I waive any of my rights to privacy. Anything there is about me, I'm happy because it will be exculpatory, because I know I haven't touched a woman other than my wife from the day I met Jeffrey Epstein. I don't even hug people. But I was falsely accused, and I was able to prove it, and I was able to prove it through documents, and I want other people to be able to disprove false accusations through documents, but these documents are being suppressed and withheld.
All right, we'll talk about that when we get back. Live on a Friday night, the America First Warehouse. Just getting started live from Studio 6B. We're back right after this.
Gotcha, Aaron. Now I can barely hear you.
I can barely hear you.
Yeah, very low.
Now, with the music not playing.
Yeah, very, very faint. I have it turned up all the way, too.
The clips are like overmodulated, and you're really low. Aaron, you have this now? Okay.
Oh, candy. Just what I need, more sugar. Awesome.
Trick or treat.
Is that a $100,000 ball?
Thank you.
Sweet tarts. When's the last time you had a sweet tart?
Not since high school.
Exactly.
Oh, tart. Never mind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's please.
We're not on that.
I know.
Yeah, I figured that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Top by the clock.
All right, let's see. Out there on Facebook, fans of the show, friends of the show. A lot of people supporting Donald Trump through this Epstein thing on here, trusting that he has a handle on it. Mm-hmm. What's up, Jeff Brackenfeld?
No.
No.
Still pretty faint.
Nope.
There you go.
The hiss is getting better.
Oh, there they
hiss
go. You're a little bit better now.
You're a little bit better, but the hiss is out of control.
What's up, Larry Bosco?
Yeah, it's not good.
Thanks for saying hi.
No, I mean, no.
It's a little better.
The hiss is better. You're a little better.
You sing better than Vin, I'll tell you that
I was about to
much.
say that.
I know it sounds funny, but I
Oh,
just
my
can't
goodness,
stand
not again.
the pain.
Yeah, we can't stand the pain either.
Aaron, can you kill his mic?
Yeah, I won Star Search in 1984, not as a singer.
Key grip.
No.
Better.
Key grip.
He was the best boy.
Yes.
Best boy.
Best
Reach
boy.
for the stars.
Oi. It's cute.
Yep. All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Real America's Voice. Hopefully will join us at some point tonight. 103.9 LI News Radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in as well. Slick
Yeah.
Rick's here. He's going to do sports. Vinnie Mac, Rick Delgado, Paul Nolan, all here tonight. Kevin Downey Jr. is off. He'll be back hopefully next Friday. He's got a gig tonight and tomorrow up in, Saratoga Springs.
Saratoga Springs.
Playing the
Saratoga
ponies.
Springs.
He's not
Yep.
in his radio show? I thought he had a radio
He
show.
has a radio show. You can
Yeah.
listen to him right here on
Yeah.
103.9 LI News Radio, 9 to 11, weekday mornings where you can hear us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday night, 8 to 10. Glad you're in, everybody. So before we went to the break, we played Alan Dershowitz, who says he knows everything, but he can't say anything, essentially, is what he's saying. I also saw a clip this week of Bill O'Reilly basically saying, you know, I talked to Trump about the Epstein thing, and Trump just feels that there's too many people who might get affected by the, you know, who are maybe not directly involved, who may be affected, and people's lives could be ruined. So he's a little more, you know, a little more hesitant about it, which I think I retweeted and said, if that's true, that's BS, because I think the American people are smart enough to discern if you're a scumbag or if you're
Right.
not, and if you
Yep.
just got caught up in
Amen.
something that's obviously innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not
like,
only
I think
that.
both excuses are kind of lame. Even Dershowitz, like I get, you know, he's going to play the I'm an attorney,
Yeah.
I'm confident, this,
Well-
all that. There's a bigger ball here at play,
Agreed.
Alan. Why don't you
Right.
figure out a way to like tell us the almighty everything you know?
No, I understand. I understand what you mean with the names. And again, you know what? Dershowitz was a product of that. His name was dragged through because he was associated with Epstein, and he kept saying it wasn't me. He went to court. That's how he got that. He explains that in more throughout the. It was a longer clip, of course. But he explains how he saw some of those names because of discovery. They had to go through the files to make sure that he could find the exculpatory evidence for him. And going through that, he's exposed to all these things. Now, he's told, you can't tell anybody what you saw here. This is exclusive to you. So he's got to hold that back.
Yeah, but why doesn't this all come back to what I've said all week long? The guy who's the commander-in-chief can declassify, can do whatever he wants. Why does it not come back to him? I got to listen to Alan. I got to listen to Alan Dershowitz. I have to listen to Bill O'Reilly say he's talked to Trump personally about this. Pam Bondi fighting over Bongino, fighting over Cash. Cash is not going anywhere. Bongino might be going somewhere. I don't think she's going anywhere. I can just tell you that, number one, because I don't think President Trump's into ultimatums. I don't care who gives it to him. Number one. Number two, if you remember, she was one of the 5 people willing to step up and defend him against sham impeachment number 1 in 2000, whatever it was, 16, 17. She was one of 5. Alan Dershowitz, I believe, was another one. So I think he's going to be loyal to her. And I don't think the Trump team wants to go through 3 to 8 months of thinking about getting somebody through the Senate.
There's no way.
There are so
There's
many
no way.
points to cover, though, here. Think about it this. When Epstein was first arrested and Acosta said, he's above my pay grade, he's intelligence, he was still arrested, he was still nailed on charges. After that point, would you hang out with a pedo? Would you hang out with a guy you know is an international money launderer? Would you hang out with a guy who you knew had a check and pass like that? I don't care who you are at this point. Now, it doesn't mean you hung out there that you're a pedo. We know that just because you went there, you're not a pederast or whatever they're called. It is what people all hobnob and doing business. But if you know a guy was involved in all that, would you go to his island?
Yeah, no, definitely not. But I'll tell you what I do know. What I do know is this. President Trump is probably the best president we've ever had in our lifetime.
Yeah,
he is no stooge.
The point. We know that.
I go to a point.
We know that, though.
I'm getting to a point. He's not only the best president, but he's not one of these guys. He's not the deep state. He's not political. He's not any of these things. If there's a reason why he's not releasing information now, me personally, in the way I see Trump, I trust that. I trust that, you know what, he's probably got a reason to do that, and he's doing what he's doing for that, because he's not one of those guys. And if he's using it to keep the deep state down, I'm all for that, man. Take these people down if you can, one by one.
Yeah. All right, but I'm not disagreeing with that. I think that's a given in the equation. For me, that's a known. Well, he's the best president we've ever seen in the modern history.
Sure. Right.
We haven't seen anything like this. There's no doubt about that.
But that's why he might be holding this back.
Well, yeah. Well, listen, if I got a treasure trove of blackmail, and I believe blackmail is the greatest form of currency in politics. It's a never-ending ATM machine that keeps giving you favor and money. So if you get that and you want to use it and leverage the people who are killing this country internally, behind the scenes, I'm all for it. But at least give us some transparency here, especially Bongino and Cash and other people who've made a living saying we're going to uncover this stuff.
Yeah. Not only that, they put their reputation on the line. And I said this earlier in the week. I think Bongino is the one that's most conflicted by the whole Bondi thing.
I agree with you.
Is he's put what she says basically puts everything that he's laid on the line into question. And I think that's why he had the blow up with her on Wednesday. He hasn't been seen around the office in the last 2 days, and why the big, the big story is he might walk because look, this is not what I signed up for. I thought we were going to do the stuff that we had talked about when I got brought into the job, and I think he sees is like this is turning into the crap that we were trying to fight.
Yep.
But again, going back to what Bongino has already said on the record since he's been in the job. So you think his big disagreement with her is just strictly now on the list in the way she's handled it? Because, again, he's on record saying things that people were like, what happened to this guy? So what is the big hubbubaloo between him and her about? It ain't about whether he killed himself. It ain't about all this other stuff because he's known about it, probably signed off on it. So what is the big in between him and her now? Is it just the way she's handled the list?
I think
is it the binders? What is it?
I think it's the way she handled Monday and the memo. They were probably blindsided by it because, you know what? I think they still have a lot going on with this case. And I think she decided, well, I don't know why she would decide it. Maybe it's in her own best interest. I don't know. You'd have to ask her. But why is it to the point where they are clashing over it? And, she's supposedly his boss, but he's coming down like a ton of bricks because, this is a big deal. And you know what? You know why this is a big deal? And again, I'm one of those guys, 7 out of 10. If Trump does 7 out of 10, I'm all on board for everything else. I might not like the other 3 or 2 or 2.5 things that he does. All right, I'll swallow it.
Pass.
But this one is so, I guess, egregiously disgusting that, and because it affects, it's kids. It's kids. You can't get around that. If you've seen, what's the movie? Cry of Freedom or
yeah.
Right?
Sound of
Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. Yeah.
Then you kind of get hit like, wow, this is a real thing. We saw the bust that happened with ICE yesterday.
It's the most disgusting crime that could
100%.
possibly happen.
Yeah, the ICE has a picture of like 8 or 10 kids that were being worked on this cannabis farm in California. again, we're finding the kid connection. That's kind of pretty freaking disgusting. And I can see where that would be his line in the sand and say, you know what? And back to Vin
Aaron,
with the reason.
Hold on a second.
No,
I respect him for that.
Throw this up, Aaron, before Delgado goes on, because it's right to line what he's talking about here. This is reporting tonight from, I don't know if it's from Michael Tracy or it's from Axios that he's reporting on, but he says tonight, looks like Dan Bongino signed off on the Epstein memo, along with the accompanying prison video. And then after social media erupted, he threw a tantrum and ran out of D.C. Now, predictably, his proxies are leaking face-saving cover stories to friendly media. And this report says the fact is Dan was for releasing the information with the video and had no problem until he got heat online, a senior administration official told Axios. Bongino found the video with the missing minute. He vouched for it after a thorough review, he said, and he thought this would end the matter. When it didn't work, he lost his mind and ran out of D.C. Two Trump administration officials said Bongino had pushed for the memo's release, aware of the blowback they would get. And to that you say?
Where is this coming from? Axios?
It's coming from Michael Tracy tonight.
From Axios. Well,
he's not from Axios. He's putting Axios' coverage of it in his tweet.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to. You know what? I'd want to hear that from Dan himself.
All right, live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse on a Friday night. We'll do some sports with Slick and some other news when we get back right after this.
Thanks to your support, you've helped make MyPillow become one of the fastest growing companies in America. Over the last 12 years, you've helped MyPillow create thousands of jobs right here in the USA.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
That's why I invented MyPillow. My patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs and helps keep your neck supported and aligned. I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow, and to thank you for your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com right now to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you can get my premium MyPillows regularly $69.98, now just $29.98, the lowest price ever.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that
I'm old.
What is going on? What are we doing, Aaron? Okay.
First Warehouse. This is Vinnie Mac live from Studio 6B. We've got George here, one of our Patriots. George, you've been watching the show. What's on your mind?
Well, I think that the whole thing with the Epstein files, I understand, everybody's upset about it and everything, but I think Trump's still doing the right thing. He's probably using it as some form of leverage because you got to understand, Ghislaine Maxwell's father was an international spy. You're talking about deep state, intrigue, all sorts of things. So, I think we just have to trust him, and we'll see what happens. I think eventually it will come out probably at the end of his term when it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, I want it to come out as well, but that's what I'm thinking too. I trust Trump through this process. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but we'll send it back to you, Big D, and we'll debate that.
All right, Vinnie Mac, very good. With the Patriot here at the America First Warehouse, where we are always excited to be on a Friday night. Joe the Box and his team, of course, always so welcoming. Real America's Voice, and of course 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in, whether you're watching or listening. The boys are all here. Slick's going to do sports here in a second. Vinnie Mac, as you just saw, Rick Delgado, Paul Nolan, all here. We'll get to all the news. We'll continue to talk on this really a very interesting day with all the back and forth. I mean, we got to talk about it. I know we've talked about Epstein a lot this week, but today it's hard to not talk about because Bongino is, these are first-class guys. Bongino, Patel, these are the guys we fought for. These are the guys we wanted. These are the guys we were excited about. These are the guys we thought if they couldn't do the job, who could ever do the job? And just before I get to sports, I think to Vin's point, what Paul was saying, we agree Trump is great. We all obviously know that. But for most people, the Epstein thing is even though I think a lot of this still ends with Trump and he could take much more control of it, I think, if he wanted to. But the point of the Epstein thing, and there's an article today by Vince Goyer over in the American Thinker. It's entitled, "The Jeffrey Epstein Case is Far Bigger Than Just Jeffrey Epstein." And one of the paragraphs, he says, "This case may not be as important as others on the president's desk, but it's a far bigger deal than I think the president understands right now. He promised transparency and accountability. We are getting neither. And the more his administration obfuscates, the less people are going to trust them on those bigger issues." And then just one last thing, which I think nails it. Sean Davis over at the Federalist said, "The Epstein case isn't just another random story that people are focused on. It's a proxy," and I think this is the key sentence, "it's a proxy for whether the Trump DOJ has what it takes to hold the deep state accountable across the board. And people are rightly concerned about the DOJ's competence given how it's handled this so far. Bondi's handling of the case thus far has been a disaster across the board, from the stupid binders and the idiotic rollout to the memo over the last week. I can tell you for a fact the FBI is in open revolt over her mishandling of the case, and the top officials have grave concerns that her lack of judgment is not just limited to this particular case. There is no confidence in her ability to do what needs to be done, and a firm belief that the DOJ under command is not equipped to handle a number of other major cases and investigations already in the works."
Yeah, it's fair. It's all fair game. I get that. I'm not denying that. I like Bongino's one of my favorite folks, and as well as Kash Patel. Love these two. And to me, the jury's still out with her. There's a lot on the plate that she has to deliver on. She has to move forward with prosecutions. I think every one of us who supported Trump and who are MAGA are basically saying some people need to be going to jail, and we need to see that. We need to see convictions, and we need to see all that. The Epstein thing has not been her smoothest, moves here. But somewhere, somehow, and I think the crux of it comes down to Trump either, I don't think Trump's not taking this seriously. He knows the MAGA base better than anybody. This guy is very well in tune with what we think and what is important to us. So I think there's something there with that in terms of the transparency here that we just don't know about.
His reaction in the cabinet meeting would tell me differently, but that's just me.
That, and I'll reference the John Rich story, where he was, John Rich told him to his face. He goes, if you mention the COVID shot one more time at a rally, he goes, I will boo you myself. He goes, because he talked about how Trump didn't understand why every time he mentioned it, he got booed. Yeah. Because he didn't realize how unpopular it was and how it affected everybody who followed him. And I think this is another one of those cases where he's not understanding how this is hitting a raw nerve for a lot of us.
All right, 34 past the hour. We'll get back to this and other news. Let's do some sports, though. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use if you want to shop at MyPillow. Use our code at checkout. It'll give you a great savings on all the great stuff from Lindell. Slickster, what's going on?
A big deal. A whole different set of fun and games. Here we go. Major League Baseball. Get to the scoreboard. Yankees 5-0 over the Cubs. Yankees back to their winning ways in the Bronx. Top of the 6th there. Bottom of the 5th, Orioles 4-0 over the Mariners. We have the Reds trailing the Rockies 2-1. End of the 5th. Tigers and Marlins 4-1 there, middle of the 5th. Rays 4-1 over the Red Sox, top of the 4th. Top of the 1st, no score. Guardians and White Sox. Mets and Royals delayed, top of the 1st in Kansas City. Looks like a little bit of rain there. Pirates and Twins, no score. Top of the 1st as well. Bottom 1st, Rangers lead the Astros 2-0. Nationals and Brewers, no score. Middle of the 2nd. Bottom of the 1st, Braves over the Cardinals 3-2. Finals from earlier today, the Guardians over the Chicago White Sox 4-2. Diamondbacks taking on the Angels 9:38 first pitch. 9:40 Phillies at the Padres. Blue Jays take on the A's at 10:05, and at 10:15 Dodgers and Giants. Of course, Wimbledon getting ready to wrap it up. Women's finals tomorrow. Men's finals on Sunday. Carlos Alcaraz, one win from making history at Wimbledon. This is field level media reporting. And two-time defending champion Carlos Alcaraz is back in the Wimbledon final after a 6-4, 5-7, 6-3, 7-6 victory on Friday against fifth-seeded Taylor Fritz of the United States in London. He put up a good fight there. On Sunday, the second-seeded Spaniard will face top-seeded Yannick Sinner of Italy. Alcaraz owns an 8-4 head-to-head against Sinner. He has defeated Djokovic in each of the past two Wimbledon finals, but is 3-5 in his career against the 24-time Grand Slam winner. And Alcaraz extended his best career-winning streak to 24 matches and is attempting to join Swedish great Bjorn Borg as the only men to sweep the French Open and Wimbledon 3 straight years. Of course, the great Bjorn Borg did it back in 78 to 80. So really great stuff there. And just one more story, if I can, Big D. UFC's Dana White hints that recently retired John Jones and Conor McGregor could return for White House fights. White says Jones is back in the drug testing pool after retiring on June 21st. This is Ryan Morick of Fox News. President Donald Trump revealed plans last week to have a UFC card at the White House to celebrate the United States 250. Can you believe this? I mean, hey, that's why sports is back on the map, because a lot of Patriots, I don't watch football anymore. They kneel and they're in the closet watching baseball with one eye through the door. Now everybody's back into watching sports. Like, look at President Trump, right? He owned the UFL football team, and we know he loves boxing and UFC, and so really great stuff. And every one of our national parks, battlefields, and historic sites are going to have special events in honor of America 250. That's going to be fabulous. Next year, we can't wait. And I even think we're going to have a UFC fight, Trump said in his speech at the Iowa State Fairgrounds last week in an address on the eve of 4th of July. It will be an unprecedented event, and the UFC President Dana White is promising the baddest card of all time. Everybody wants to fight on this card, literally everybody, White told the Full Send podcast this week. So much so, White confirmed that John Jones, who announced his retirement, one of the best ever, June 21st, jumped back into the testing pool. When asked if that was official, White replied, oh yeah. After Jones' retirement, his heavyweight title went to Tom Aspinall, so it's not hard to imagine what White's dream main event is. So we'll see what happens, Big D. Imagine UFC. I know you're a huge UFC fan fight. Where would they have that fight, you think?
Well, Dana White, I heard him on with the Nelk Boys, and he said, number one, he had no idea Trump was going to make the announcement. He said he hadn't told
That's
them.
typical.
He said, and then he just came out with it, and he was like, oops, okay.
Yeah, they'll find a spot.
But he says they've already walked it, and the camera work, he said, is going to be amazing. You're going to have the White House in the back of most shots and the Washington Monument in the back of the other shots.
Wow.
As the production on this event.
I'm voting for Pelosi versus McGregor.
He said there'll be no
That'll
tickets.
That'll be good. She'll stop him with her face.
Sponsored by something else. Sponsored by Balvenie.
I'll drink to that.
And the screeching voice.
Yes.
Yeah, he said there'll be no tickets. It'll all be VIP, invite only.
Oh, you'll be invited.
Because there won't be many.
You'll be there.
I'll be already calling John Solomon to see if I can just cozy up to him, how much I can cozy up to him to try to get one ticket. But
one ticket. Oh, you have a sports guy on the show here. See this guy? I tell you, always looking out for number one.
Okay, anyways.
That's a wrap in sports, Big D.
All right,
back to you.
Very good. Sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Let's do some news headlines. Do we have time for that? Yes, we do. Let's do some news headlines with Rick Delgado. Delgado, what's going on?
All right. Well, some of the greatest headlines that we haven't covered yet, Damon, I would be happy to share them with you. One of them is, again, when you talk about the stuff that we voted for, this is one of those things. Check out this headline. State Department starts firing more than 1,350 workers in Trump's shakeup of the diplomatic corps.
We like
that is outcoming. Yes, let's hear it.
Yes.
The State Department began firing more than 1,300 U.S.-based employees earlier today as the administration, President Donald Trump, pressed ahead with the unprecedented overhaul of the State Department, a move critics say will undermine the U.S. ability to defend blah, blah, blah overseas. The layoffs will cover 1,100 civil service employees and 246 foreign service employees based in the United States. So you get 1,350 out of the State Department. That's out of one department as they began sending notice to workers earlier today. The department is streamlining domestic operations to focus on diplomatic priorities, the notice said, and the headcount reductions have been carefully tailored to affect non-core function, duplications, redundancies, and offices where considerable efficiencies may be found. In other words, a bunch of people sitting around collecting money for basically doing nothing. So let's hope this continues, the first of many. As again, we saw this with the earlier Supreme Court decision this week that kind of cleared the way for President Trump to say, okay, we're gonna reshape this federal government, a power that the president, I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. They've always had throughout other presidencies, but this one, judges seem to want to stop anything he tries to do, right?
Yep. Yeah. The president made a little news tonight, too. He put out a Truth Social, and we happened to talk about this yesterday. He said, I'm on my way back from Texas, and I watched in disbelief as thugs were violently throwing rocks and bricks at ICE officers while they were moving down a roadway in their car and or official vehicle. Tremendous damage was done to these brand new vehicles. I know for a fact that these officers are having a hard time with allowing this to happen, and it shows such total disrespect for law and order. Therefore, I am directing Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem and Border Czar Tom Homan to instruct all ICE, Homeland Security, and other law enforcement officers who is on receiving end of thrown rocks, bricks, or other form of assault to stop their car and arrest these slime balls using whatever means is necessary to do so. I am giving total authorization for ICE to protect itself just like they protect the public. I never want to see a car carrying a law enforcement officer attacked again. Authorization immediately granted for arrest and incarceration. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
I'm so glad he did that.
The only thing missing is where he says, shoot the bastards. That's what he should say.
He said any means.
Yes.
Shoot the bastards might be the better way.
That's the way to go.
Well, if you saw some of the video, it's kind of insane. They're literally standing right in front of these trucks throwing rocks. Somehow these things are, I guess they've got some pretty well-tempered glass on these vans and these vehicles. Over 1,000 rioters surrounded a federal law enforcement building. This is
They got great patience. I would have run them all over.
You would think.
Dude,
I'm surprised nobody jumped out of their vehicles because they were under assault. Guns drawn.
Start shooting, doing donuts, smashing people to bits.
Right. Crazy stuff.
All right, live from Studio 6B, we'll do some more news, sports, Vinnie Mac, Paul Nolan, all coming up a Friday night at the America First Warehouse. We're back right after this.
Plenty of news that's not Epstein.
I've just got a couple of volunteers here and there, but I certainly have something nice to say outside.
All right, I think we can do the super chats then.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, super chat in the YouTube. Yahoo Yaboo, $20. I'm loving Trump for his new military support for Ukraine through NATO. Teach the invaders a lesson. Good one there. Another super chat, $5. Michael Robertson Sr. Damon, you look good tonight. And being from North Carolina, flip-flops are considered formal attire.
Thank you very much.
Come on. Thank you very much for those super chats in the YouTube chat. Good stuff.
That first one was interesting. Yeah, Boo says he's back into now supporting Ukraine, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is, right?
Because a lot of people were obviously.
Nice. Thanks, dude. By the way, feel the quality. Feel how soft the material is. Like, that's a real shirt.
Well, there's all this focuses on the
See how soft that is? You can wear that shirt.
This is the same one we use.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty standard.
Because everyone
make
uses
your own
that,
t-shirt.
that Gildan crap.
Yeah, no.
That cardboardy.
Yep.
So
That's good.
I really would like to have a conversation maybe tomorrow about merch.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's good, right? Yeah.
He's a good kid so far, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe you know what? Maybe I'll put this on the front of my.
Put your cup on top of
Check,
it.
check. You know what? I'll put.
Yes, I do, Aaron.
At 9 o'clock, I'll run in the back. I'll swap it out.
Yes.
I know.
No, I'm going to hold the microphone.
Oh, you'll hold it?
Yes.
Everybody has them.
Don't worry, you'll be
shot.
Stuff looks great.
When you go on, they zoom in behind you is the empty suit by Scott Romero. It's the only portrait of Joe Biden that we have in the warehouse. And whenever you're on, it's over your right shoulder. You notice.
I'll make a point of
Scott.
And you and I going on.
Yes, I'm going to tell you about what I'm going to talk about is the incredible way.
Live from Studio 6B, and we are live from the America First warehouse on this Friday night. I've got a great patriot. Her name is Diane from Long Island, coming in here. She agrees, Damon, that there is other news to talk about, except, not including Epstein. What do you want to talk about, Diane?
Well, I think with all of this talk and this focus on Epstein, that the Democrats smell blood here, and there's been so many wins and so many positive things about the Trump administration, all their accomplishments, and I'd like to know, how do you think we and the Trump administration can get the focus back on really what's important to everybody in their day-to-day life?
I like that,
Yeah, that's a great question, because let's face it, that's what Trump was trying to say when the question by the reporter was brought up on Monday, but then, of course, things went off the rail with Pam Bondi, correct?
Yes, they did, and I think we want to avoid the focus being too much on that, because I think that it's really out of proportion with the whole scope of everything that the Trump administration is trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, and we're talking about wins, right, Diane?
Absolutely, and there are a lot of wins, and there's a lot to be positive about.
All right, well, let's throw it back to you guys. Damon on the stage, talking about the wins of the Trump administration. Thank you, Diane.
Rick Delgado with Diane. I think she makes a lot of good points, but to the main point of how you get the focus back, Vin, what do you think about that, how you get the focus back? I mean, listen, this is why I say I don't know if AG Bondi's going anywhere. If you hearken back to the first Trump administration, you remember Rex, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson. He was gone pretty quickly. Obviously, what's his name? The AG who recused himself. He was gone pretty quickly. Sessions. So that's one of the things I think they don't want to hearken back to is a lot of immediate turnover. And I don't think they want to go through a Senate confirmation. And I think he's probably somewhat loyal to her for her representing him through the first impeachment. And obviously listening to him in that, I mean, it's hard to get out of your mind his reaction to that reporter in the meeting. I mean, I don't want to say just completely misread the room, but his reaction to it was like, why are you guys interested in this creep that we've been talking about for 10 years? And it's kind of like the rest of us are going, well, I mean, this is a pretty vile story about kids and the elites being protected. And if you guys are all lying about it, it seems like you're lying to say to the elites out there, don't worry, we got your back no matter what.
That's exactly
And that's the
right,
last
Dave.
thing people want to hear.
Yeah. Well, to your first question was, what else can we do? Can he focus on anything else? This guy is the master of multitasking, working on tariff deals, dealing with Iran, dealing with the Ukraine, dealing with all of these things at once. So the one thing about Donald Trump, this is an executive who's run multiple businesses with multiple divisions. Unlike our past presidents, which were very one-dimensional, they could focus on one thing for 6 months, a year, and then something else. This guy's on 10 or 12 things at the same time. And this issue, which is, an issue in general, is not going to distract him from closing up a bunch of other deals that he's doing. I don't see it getting in the way.
But he could himself make it clear. He could say, listen,
he should.
There's going to be no amnesty. Forget everything you've heard, number one. He could say that. He could put that to bed. He could say, I am not approving any more Chinese visas for any Chinese students coming over here to our universities. He could put that to bed. He could say, he can clear it up and get it refocused, because when you look at the week or the week and a half, 10 days, it hasn't been a great 10 days. Given people thought we were going to World War III, then the Netanyahu comes here, everybody's upset about that, and then the Bondi thing, and then the Epstein thing, and then the immigration thing, and then it's like, oh, there's amnesty. Then Tom Homan yesterday says, no, there's no amnesty. So again, to me, it all needs to go back to the guy at the top. He needs to clarify what's going on, because there are a lot of wins. There are still a lot of wins. If Jerome Powell leaves, that'll be a win. If he puts somebody in that place, the rumors are that he might win. You see, we're not running I guess it was a monthly deficit now because of tariffs. We actually have now a small surplus to offset what was $100 billion deficits we were running month over month. So there are things to look at. Inflation's obviously way down. If anything, we're going to have to start worrying about deflation in places.
Yeah.
But people aren't feeling it. That's the problem. People don't feel it in the cost of living yet. You talk to people and say, hey, is the cost of living, do you feel like it represents what we're seeing in the inflation numbers and what people like Tom Lee at Fundstrat are talking about? And they're going, no, I don't feel it. I don't feel the cost of living. That's why when I see the spending in this big, beautiful bill, it drives me crazy, because the cost of living for most people still seems unattainable.
Yeah, well, you covered a couple of things. The Jerome Powell thing is a big deal. I mean, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are saying that it's time for him to step down. He made hints that he would step down. We know he has a personal vendetta against Trump. There's clearly, he's creating a little bit
Get rid of that guy.
There's no question. We could drop rates a half point or a quarter point, 3 straight quarters. You know what that's going to do to the economy. We know that'll do for spending. The deficit and the surplus this month of $27 billion because of the tariffs, that'll stop a lot of the naysayers saying the tariffs are a big joke and they're a mistake and they're not seeing the bigger picture. You also hit on the other point I was going to make, wins in terms of economy. I do believe the cost of living feel and the inflation numbers will start to hit us in September. Q3 is when we should start to feel that going into the holidays. Good timing for the end of the year. All that's going to be good. We're seeing crypto markets and the stock markets are rolling. Manufacturing is going to take a little while to start getting back, but we're watching abandoned buildings being rebuilt. We're watching this happen. The infrastructure is coming back. Jobs are going to come back. We're seeing non-migrant work down, and citizen work is going up. We're seeing more citizens working. So there's a lot of really good things. The problem we really have here is we have the attention spans of 7-year-olds in a balloon factory on their extra dose of Ritalin. Every time there's a win, we go haywire. When there's a loss, we all want to cry. The bipolar nature of media today. In the green room alone, right? I said, breaking news from Nick Sorter. You go, no, that's old. It was almost an hour and 40 minutes ago. I was like, wow, what a world we live in, right?
Yeah.
So I do think the future's bright. I believe that from the bottom of my heart. The Epstein thing, we could belabor this all night. We can, I'm on your page with that. I think that what you said was right on the money. It gives a green light to all the elites who treat us as plebs, that we don't deserve the truth, and we are the people. They work for us. They should be afraid of us. And this is their way of saying, we don't care what you think, F you. And that's what bothers me the most, because F them. That's what bothers me. This is what bakes my potatoes. You know what I mean? Because that's the real problem here. They don't care what we say or what we think or how we're the ones who keep this society going. It's not them.
Yeah.
So,
And remember, Mark Mitchell yesterday, and people can dismiss it, but I wouldn't. Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen, who I think we all pretty much trust, says right now the congressional generic ballot right now going into the midterms is Democrat +2. That can't be ignored.
Exactly.
It just cannot be ignored.
No, it can't be
Because
ignored, but
it's
it's also very, very early in the game. We're not even 6 months into his term here.
It's not early in the game in the political calendar that we live in.
No, of course not. That's why I mentioned the other night they got to get stuff done now before these guys start thinking about I got to focus on my reelection and I can't take any chances. So anything you want to do that's bold, do it now. Get it pushed through. And then watch the effects of those good policies that you're hoping are going to do the boosting that you talked about. And another thing, real quick, and getting back to Diane's question, is what Epstein does, and I've been distracted by it. It does distract you from the good stuff that is happening. And Damon talks about, we don't feel it. He went to gas up his kid's car the other day. He wasn't feeling it because he's like, why am I paying so much for gas still?
yeah, for me, I see everything from a marketing standpoint. I'm seeing things from an optics standpoint. I'm seeing this from how does this affect Trump? How does this hurt Trump? How does it help Trump? How does it make him look better? All I care about is his presidency, his legacy, and what happens in the next elections. So anytime I see something that looks like, a brown stain on our side of the aisle, I get ticked over it.
Sure.
To me, I think we always talk about the war of messaging.
All right, quick hour one at the America First Warehouse. We're back. Hour two coming up. Vinnie Mac will kick us off. We'll see what's on his mind on a Friday night. Real America's Voice, 103.9 LI News Radio. We're back right after this. Aaron, can you give me sound here? I just want to see what the sound quality on this is.
Amnesty for farm workers? I think it's the most grotesque thing. What do I think about amnesty for farm workers? I think it's the most grotesque thing I've ever heard. Are you joking? Amnesty for farm workers? We have like 60 million illegal aliens in the country. The country bears no resemblance to the country I grew up in, and it's not better, it's worse. So I'm not going to sit for another lecture from anybody telling me we need to import more people.
What'd say?
I am.
I think it's Vin, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that either if you guys ever.
Check your chat. Send that to the wife.
Making women give birth again. This is, you want to trigger somebody from the left, it's this shirt. This is great.
Yes.
I thought my statism is a disease shirt was triggering.
Yep.
This is better.
Is that how you're going to wear it?
So that was a quick first hour, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That was quick. If I nap during the second hour, it'll go really quick.
You can take my place.
Not going to do that.
Slick.
Yes.
You were dancing on the Yankees' grave last night, 8th inning, down 5-0. What was the final score of that game?
I was emphatic.
What was the final score of that game, Slick?
I don't have the final
It was
score.
6-5 Yankees.
They came back, huh? Back from the dead.
Back from the dead.
Score. I love
All
that.
right, so here's what we'll do.
That's great.
He's over there. We'll let him do Joe, then I'll do you,
Yeah.
and then I'll go back to Vin
Okay.
for his thing.
But you're starting off, right?
Yeah. I'll open, throw to him, then come to Slick, and then I can go back to him, or I'll go to Paul and then to him.
Well, I just covered two of the stories, just like the headlines. We don't need to go through that, but there's other stuff that I'd like to talk about if we're sick of the Epstein thing.
Big D, Double Dizzle, and the 6B Brizzle, live on Real America's Voice Vizzle, baby.
All right, thank you, Snoop. Hour 2 here live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse on a Friday night. 103.9 LI News Radio. Glad you're in as well. Of course, Real America's Voice on all socials at LFS6B. Pretty much everywhere. Make sure you sign up over at livefromstudio6b.com as well. Slick's going to do some more sports. Delgado is here. He's got some more headline news. Paul Nolan's got some news as well. But let's now throw it over to Vinnie Mac, who's going to have some news. But right now, he's got a very special person with him. Vinnie Mac, who you got?
Oh, yeah. I had to put new batteries in my pacemaker for this one because we got the man, the legend, the founder of the America First Warehouse here at Live from Studio 6B, Joe the Box. And, Joe, I know you got something on your mind. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I got a lot on my mind. First, I want to thank you guys for coming in here because the warehouse welcomes exactly what you stand for and what you're doing. The anxiety levels are out of control with people, right? So my message is something that my First Lady and I saw this week. We were at the 4th of July weekend, and it was a beautiful event to watch. What Donald Trump, President Trump put together. The fireworks were going on, and then we noticed something that we thought was pretty breathtaking, and that was them dancing together and showing emotion and love towards each other. He's not a machine. He's a man, and I'm so proud of him and her as our great president. What do you say about that?
Oh, man, that's awesome. Their relationship seems great right now, doesn't it? It's the happiest I think I've ever seen the two of them together. Is this presidency and this run? I mean, she must be thrilled.
Same thing with me and mine.
Yeah, you're happy too.
Yeah.
All right, make the Manigattis. We're coming over tonight. Back to you, Big D.
All right, Vinnie Mac with Joe the Box.
Joe the Box, come on.
Joe the Box in the America First Warehouse here. We always appreciate Joe and his staff. They are so welcoming to us here, Martin and everybody on Friday nights. We come on over here, and we can't appreciate it as any more than we do. And if you haven't been here, by the way, I know Joe's got a big car show here tomorrow, and they've got all their great events. So go to theamericafirstwarehouse.com, theamericafirstwarehouse.com, and check out their schedule of great events, especially if you're listening on 103.9 LI News Radio, all Long Island. You can easily get here and check it out. If you haven't been here, it's really worth the trip. And they do great events, not only us on Friday nights, but other great stuff during the week and great events on weekends. So check it out at theamericafirstwarehouse.com. All right, let's do some sports. Then we'll get to Vinnie Mac. Then we'll get to Paul. Let's do some sports right now, brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Slickster's got it. What's going on?
Big ladies boxing card at the MAGA Square Garden tonight. Big D, right? Everybody heard about that? Taylor versus Serrano. We don't have an update yet. Obviously, that fight hasn't taken place. But Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano will meet for the third time on Friday with Taylor's undisputed junior welterweight championship on the line. The trilogy fight headlines an all-women card at New York's Madison Square Garden and also on Netflix at 8 o'clock tonight. That includes 5 world title fights, all the ladies. Taylor 24-1, 6 knockouts, defeated Serrano. Remember that fight by unanimous decision in November? That was the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul undercard. We remember that debacle, right, at AT&T Stadium down in Arlington, Texas. Serrano suffered a big cut over her right eye in the 4th round due to an unintentional clash of the heads, and Taylor was deducted a point in round 8 by referee John Strawley for headbutting. In the rematch, Serrano set a CompuBox record by landing 324 punches, the most in a 10-round women's fight. Their first fight in April 2022 was also close, with Taylor edging Serrano by split decision. This time around, Serrano is a slight favorite at -175 per ESPN bet. So we'll give you an update. Hopefully that fight may kick off before we get done with the show. I'll try to keep an eye on that, let the folks know. But all-woman card, I absolutely love to see that. And I guarantee you no men are climbing in the ring tonight, except for maybe the referees. So that's a good thing as well. And NFL coaches Jim and John Harbaugh visit with Donald Trump in the White House. This is Warner Todd Houston of Breitbart. NFL coaches Jim and John Harbaugh were on hand to visit with President Donald Trump in the White House on Thursday as the 2025 NFL season prepares to kick off with training camps. Can you believe football is getting ready to start in a couple of weeks? Unbelievable. According to sources, the coaches appeared in D.C. after they were invited for an Oval Office visit, USA Today reported. John has been head coach for the Baltimore Ravens for an amazing 18 seasons, while brother Jim is entering into season 2 as the chief of the Los Angeles Chargers. Both have visited the White House before. John attended the White House visiting with the Ravens in 2013 after winning the Super Bowl 47 that is, and Jim had the opportunity to visit in 2015 when he was the head coach for Michigan. The Harbors are a friendly audience for President Trump. Jim, for instance, is well known for his pro-life stance. Last year he took to the podium and made a few comments at the 2024 March for Life in Washington, D.C. You know, we all talk about human rights. There's really no rights that are important unless you have the right to life, he said from the stage. This is a great day for March. It's a great day for the sanctity of life, and it's football weather. Let's make it a great day. So they're great guys. They went to see the president. I thought that was a kind of a cool story. Again, the president always finds a way to get into sports, right? Especially with the Title IX, what's going on. I won't be surprised he shows up at Wimbledon on the weekend there for those matches. You never know. Take a quick trip to London, the president.
Yeah.
Right there, that's it. I think the Concorde's out of business, though. He's going to get there that quick. That's a wrap in sports. Back to you, Big Dick.
Didn't they put a mosque there at Wimbledon? I thought Wimbledon got knocked down for another mosque. No?
No, I don't think so.
No, not yet.
No, they're playing, Paul.
That's 2027.
That's just in Detroit that's happening.
Maybe later.
Right. Yeah, Big Ben's replaced by
All
a mosque.
right, sports is brought to you by Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Vinnie Mac is here. Vinnie Mac, what's some headlines on your mind?
Oh, man, my clams were steaming today. Thank you, KDJ. And I haven't steamed a clam in a long time. I've had a love-hate relationship with Chase Bank.
With every one of your friends?
With
a piano?
Facebook.
With just everybody in my life. I have a love-hate relationship. No. Chase Bank. I was debanked, as you guys have talked about, because of my political leanings.
Me too.
Okay, you were too.
By Chase.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, really?
I was 3 by Chase.
By Chase too?
Me too.
That's the right name, Chase.
So that's my hate for Chase and Jamie Dimon, the CEO. However, Jamie Dimon and I have something very much in common because he said something quite interesting today. And I have said this exact thing. So when I read this quote, I was shocked because I'm on Facebook with a lot of my liberal friends, as you all know. And I say basically this, and I'll read Jamie's quote, take it verbatim. I have a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they're idiots. I always say they have big hearts and little brains. They do not understand how the real world works.
True.
Almost every single policy rolled out failed. To have a major CEO of a bank just put it out exactly what it is, I felt pretty good about that, even though I got debanked by the guy.
But he's referring to the Islamist who's running for the mayor of New York City.
Pretty much.
That's what he's referring to.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is what he's referring to.
He's responding to that, and of course, this guy's completely out of control. But I did also want to talk about something you mentioned, and you're not seeing a lot of these things that Trump is doing. And when it comes to economic moves through the government especially, it takes 6 months to a year for us to really start feeling this stuff. So let's talk about that for a second. 100% of the jobs, the new jobs created, 100% of them, all went to American citizens, not to government employees, not to foreigners. What does that say? That says these are good, well-paying jobs.
Yep.
These aren't the types of jobs that other presidents come out and say, and we heard Biden line about this for many, many years, we increased jobs. Yeah, they hired more people in the government. That's not increasing jobs. What Trump did is he's firing people in the government, and we increased jobs, for real American citizens, which is why we all voted for Donald Trump. You also mentioned this deficit and surplus issue. Let's just look at some of the numbers because they're quite meaningful. In June of 2020, it was an $864 billion deficit in that month. 2021, $174 billion. 2022, $88 billion deficit. 2023, $227 billion. And in June, this June, 2025, a $26 billion surplus. What does that all mean? It means a lot of this stuff is working. Those are huge numbers. Those are enormous swings. The economy is starting to see a turn. The prediction that I've had, and I've talked to many, many other people about this, is we're going to start seeing this thing turn big time in January. We have the tariffs taking their place and the adjustments to that happening. We have all these new businesses coming to the United States. I mean, it's unprecedented, the amount of companies coming to this country. It's never happened in this level. Never. What he did in the first term was remarkable. We're not even close to that. He is so far ahead of that. That's going to start paying dividends towards the end of this year and into next year. We're going to have better jobs. Gas prices are going to go down. Liberal states like New York and California, where they charge a couple of bucks a gallon for taxes, you're not going to see it in some of those places. We're going to see it in our state here and there, but most states that operate normally with not those high tax rates, you're going to feel it. So all these things are going to happen at once. We're going to see, a major ship here turning like it's a speedboat. in end of this year, early next year. And one last thing I want to say is tonight they're covering the Turning Point USA event with Charlie Kirk in Tampa. And I just want to send out real kudos to Charlie, what he's doing. What he's doing is really shaping young minds in this country. He is covering MAGA, Make America Healthy Again, China, the border, abortions, all of these things that we see our young people in our country disconnected from and understanding the reality to these things. That is really one remarkable group that he has, and they're having a big weekend event, if those of you don't know that, in Tampa right now, where he's showcasing many of these things. But I'm sure you've seen his videos. The guy's awesome. But they're not just videos. He's not some social media, he's good at social media, he's not some social media guy. He's actually turning points. I mean, the title of his whole thing, his nonprofit, is that. I love to see it because, damn, do we need it. We need these young people to come around. All this economic change, they have to feed that engine. They need to buy houses. They need to be a part of the economy. Right now, they're in what we call the renter's economy. They're looking at it and saying, well, what else can you give me? And that's not right. That's not everyone. It's a big part of the youth population. So I say, Charlie, great job. If you're watching, we're big supporters of that. And the economy's turning, and these young people should now start acquiring assets. That's my thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, it's never been more unattainable for young kids. We talked about this. Unfortunately, owning a house, owning a home, most kids in their late 20s, early 30s are looking, and they're living at home, and they're still barely getting by. And owning, it's the dream of most people is to own, that white picket fence and own that home and raise that family. It's never been more unattainable for young kids right now.
Yeah, and that's got to change. The interest rates need to come down, but they also need to get good jobs. Money needs to be growing for them. Housing market needs to be strong, but we can't have this renter economy. And we can't sustain that because what happens is they see socialism as an avenue. Yeah. It's not right.
To piggyback on your optimism, technically we have the lowest price per gallon since I think 2000, based on inflation.
Yeah.
If you adjust for inflation, we'd be paying like $1.13 a gallon right now. I think that's something that's worth noting. As for the kids in the future, they say there's a huge tradesman deficit right now in America, and they're talking about more kids are starting to go to trade schools and thinking about becoming electricians, plumbers, doing things with their hands, because let's be honest, the bankers figured out a way to make college cost $1 gazillion, so they're in debt before they even were thinking about buying a house. They've already got that tourniquet of debt around their necks. They're completely, owned by the banking system before they have a hair on their chin. Yeah. So they worked that out. They don't even need the housing market. So with that said, more kids in the workforce, less wanting UBI, universal basic income, and socialism.
The only problem with that is it's not the banks that have them with a mortgage of about $300,000 in debt by the time they graduate college, because that's what they're saddled with, right? Basically $300,000 to $400,000. That's the U.S. government that's saddling them, giving them those loans. Because that's what those kids are complaining about. Right. They're guaranteeing those loans to kids that they couldn't get a loan like that to get a house at 18, but here's $400,000 that'll put you in a hole before you even get started.
Unforgivable, by the way.
Right. Exactly.
By the way, part of the big beautiful bill is every kid now born gets $1,000. I mean, that kind of sounds like universal basic income to a lot of people now, but we can argue about that a different day. All right, live from Studio 6B at the America First Warehouse on a Friday night.
Yes.
We're back. More to do right after this.
I did not know that. Delgado's gonna go.
All right, everybody. Paul's doing a selfie. So get in Paul's selfie.
I wanted to send
Have a read here?
Do it. Do a selfie.
I don't think I had anything.
I already said that. I got the guys back there.
Okay.
Do one for Joe to box. Go ahead. Do it, Paul. Just do it.
Do we have someone for Delgado to talk to?
Hang on.
Yeah, we do.
I'm trying to send.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on.
I'm going to get a drink.
I got to figure out how to get back to
Can I get a drink? Do I have time?
There's a great post by Bob Davis on Facebook. Replace Bondi with Delgado. He'll get it done. I'd vote for that. Delgado for AG. Paul, I'm with you on those trade schools. And when the first wave of immigrants came in this country, they had trades. That's mostly what they did.
Yeah.
We lost our place with that, and then we lost a lot of people who could provide those services. Ever try and get an electrician or a plumber and so on in certain towns? You can't get them.
Yeah.
If it gets busy, when I'm in Florida, back when the boom was going on, you couldn't get anybody.
Well, my buddy who has a lot of property down there, his exact words were after the second hurricane. He goes, why don't you just bring your trucks, bring your crews?
Exactly.
He goes, he has a house right on the beach, and he could pay anything. He said, I have an 8-month wait for my property.
Yeah.
8 months. He's like, if you come down, I'll get you guys so much work. Won't know. Do I want to uproot and leave my life here to do with the work? I don't know if I
mean, it's the opportunity. That's where you go.
Yeah. If I was a younger man, I would.
I wish I went to at least learn some of those trades. I wish I knew how to do some of the things that go on in the house that I don't know how to touch. I'll blow the place up. Saying hi to our friends on Facebook over here. What's going on out there?
Say hello.
Stephen Kelly, RFK Jr. Really, what's going on now with Kennedy? He's out there. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, I think what he means is what's going on with this approval of this new Moderna vaccine.
Ooh, yeah.
Really?
What?
Yeah, another stab.
I tell you, one of my biggest regrets is getting the stab. I had to do it because I was traveling all over the place. They wouldn't let me on a plane. But every time I go to the doctor, I'm thinking, are they going to find something?
I know.
That's a result of this.
They're all saying there's medical procedures to reverse some of the mRNA.
I've heard that.
But look at this. We got young patriots over here. This is great.
You guys better go to trade school. No kidding.
Pipe.
Live from Studio 6B. Yes. On a Friday night, live from the America First Warehouse on Long Island. We welcome you here. I got another great patriot who, Paul, if you're paying attention, I think this is the guy who made your shirt. Check this out.
Nice.
His name is Glenn. Glenn, how are you?
I'm great.
I know that guy.
Yeah. I know you too.
Glenn has some words to say. Glenn, what do you want to talk about here?
Well, first of all, you can get this shirt now at 47swagco.com. And so last time I was here, I wore this on Friday. I went to the gym Saturday, and the manager came up within 15 minutes of me working out and said, what do I have to give you for you not to wear this in the gym? 1 month, 2 months. I said, my whole family for the summer. And it was done. It's pretty.
The art of the deal, right?
Yeah, that's it. So now I'm just going to give Paul one. He'll wear it as he goes to the gym with me, and get him in there for free.
Yeah. Thing is, he'll go home with that one. His wife will tell him, "What do I have to do for you to take it off?"
Yeah,
that's because I'm hunky, Rick.
And she'll say, "Go back to the gym."
Put it back on.
Way to shirt the issue.
So Glenn, anything else you wanted to say?
No, just wanted to introduce my sons.
Oh, the boys. Yes. What are your names?
Ronnie.
Alex.
Glenn. Nice.
3 young patriots joining their dad here at the America First Warehouse for our show tonight. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Let's see about getting more of these shirts. Back to you, Damon. Damon, you want one?
Tie 4 together to give me a my size. But yeah, they're good-looking shirts.
He'll have to go to the gym. He doesn't want it.
Shut up, Slick.
I thought it was the Jonas Brothers over here. What are those guys? You guys sing?
Yeah, that's some good-looking kids.
They
Right
should get together.
Yep.
All right, live from Studio 6B at the American First Warehouse on a Friday night.
I play the piano, I might be able to help them.
Please.
Imagine that.
God, please stop.
How many shirts can we
know
stuff
any
in your
Lionel
mouth
Richie?
so you won't sing?
You haven't seen on our X, by the way, if you want to see Vin's attempt, and I stress the word attempt, to play the piano.
I thought it was good.
It's on our X. You can go check it out. So.
Yeah, it was damn good.
I thought it was good too.
Yeah, if you're deaf, it was
Compared to what?
Casey Kasem came out and said, "Oh, you're reach for the stars, man.
Yeah.
Great."
Paul Nolan's here. Mr. Nolan's got some news. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to touch back to what Vin said. Vin had a lot of great positive points there, which I'm kind of on Damon's side. I'm, a lot of things we're talking about here. This mRNA thing. There's a lot of things we're like, huh? Why? But economy-wise is really, to me, it's always economy first. Because how does it affect our family and our lives?
Safety
and our
and
neighbors?
economy for me.
You know, so I think you know, one of the things we were talking about, the optimism of markets exploding, and you know, gas prices all coming down, and energy independence again. There's so many good things that have happened along the way. But I thought you made so many good points, and I wanted to kind of address the fact that there's, in a week where there was probably the least amount of Trump optimism, it was a refreshing moment to me, because you want to stay positive as well. But there are things like we talk about that's irking us. But here's a point that I was happy about: accountability. As many as 6 U.S. Secret Service agents have been suspended for conduct during the assassination attempt on President Trump.
Good.
There were many mistakes made during the day of the assassination attempt in July, where the Secret Service mishandled the whole day. But an independent review by the Department of Homeland Security revealed systemic issues within the organization that found that without reforms to the agency, another Butler can and will happen. Which to me, I'm in Delgado, my radar kind of went off there a little bit. My tinfoil hat started buzzing. They're like pre-programming us for something bad.
Something's coming.
I just thought this subject needs to be touched more. So for me, if the wins that I want, I think the way we can erase the foul taste in our mouths, my mouth, over the Epstein nonsense would be the surplus we discussed, $27 billion. In a very short period of time, that goes to 50, then 90, 130. And he says, guess what? Working stiffs, guys out there grinding every day, your income tax is down to 7%. You know what I mean? Let's kill income tax. Tax is theft. That, to me, could be a monstrous win. Optic war. There's nothing's going to shake that. No, you know what I mean? You can't. If he kills income tax at that point, a surplus happens through tariffs. How in God's name does anybody vote against Trump or any Republican going forward? So to me, that's a massive win. You know how I feel about January 6th, and I feel like that's low-hanging fruit. Pelosi hung herself out to dry that day. She needs to go. I don't care how much it looks like political retribution or even if you want to call it revenge. I don't care. She's an animal. She deserves what's coming to her.
It's not revenge. It's the truth.
It's the absolute truth.
I mean, that's the thing.
That was a Fedsurrection, and they practiced it in Michigan. So that, to me, if they give me some low-hanging fruit there, some accountability there, that'll be like a little bit of cool mint Listerine on the palate. And then I guess the election nonsense that Cash and Nunes did such a phenomenal job standing up to. And guys like Mike Lindell on the election, people who did not ruin their lives fighting tooth and nail for the truth. And anybody who doesn't think the election was rigged in 2020, you're a moron. That's it. I'm not arguing.
No,
I'm not even going to discuss this with you.
100%.
So if we can get those wins, all right, maybe I'll give up on the Epstein side of it, which will still disgust me. I won't be happy about it. But I just do think there's
a balance to it,
if
man.
we can get some accountability, because that's what we voted for. Let's break up this deep state of endless BS that we're, shoved down our throats. So,
well, especially when you see the moving ahead with the 1,350 State Department people kicked out the door. That's a great first step. And if they can start doing that across agency wide, that I think is going to be huge in removing a lot of these. When you talk about the deep state, you talk about these people that are embedded like ticks, and they're in there. And no matter what the person ahead of them says, they're like, I'll wait you out. I know the other person's going to be here in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And that's the game they play.
Yeah.
So now the great job is to try to remove all these Obama-ites that he installed, over his 8 years that have now dug in, and they're tough to find.
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
Well, to get to one of Paul's pieces there, and not to throw cold water on it, but I saw, I was confused.
But here it comes.
Yeah, here it comes. Because it's these kind of headlines, and thinking about the things that Trump can control. Mm-hmm. And I brought this up the other night from an article in the Daily Caller earlier this month, saying Trump was very satisfied with what's been done around Butler. It's been over a year. For me, We don't know a whole lot more now than we did that day or the next day.
Right.
And so I see this today from Senator Ron Johnson. You can put this headline up, Aaron. And I mean, this you just have to shake your head at a headline like this. Senator Ron Johnson plans FBI, DOJ subpoenas over Butler assassination attempt. Now, why is it that a Republican senator from Wisconsin has to subpoena Donald Trump's own Department of Justice to talk about the day they tried to take Donald Trump out? The fact that he has to subpoena it because he's not getting it is beyond frustrating when the commander-in-chief is the guy they tried to take out.
Yeah.
And Ron Johnson has to subpoena it. He has to subpoena the FBI and the Justice Department for more information on last year's assassination attempt against President Trump. Johnson, who chairs the Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, was a co-author of last year's bipartisan Senate Homeland Security Committee report on the assassination attempt. But that report was not the final product. Now he's plowing ahead with the investigation that he described as maddening. This is his words, maddening, because of the roadblocks and barriers he's faced along the way. And last night he approved a subpoena to get more information from Trump's own FBI and Department of Justice about Trump's assassination.
Yeah.
Think about how upside down this is.
Yeah. That was fun while it lasted.
It's just crazy. All right, live from Studio 6B, more to do on a Friday night live at the America First Warehouse.
How's
We're
that
back
feel, Paul?
right after this.
Yeah.
I finally got over to the YouTube. We got ticked off as always. Moon Pie and Matt Millo. How you guys do? Jesus.
You got the YouTubes.
We got Ruby Ivy.
Yeah, we've been in the YouTubes.
Gary Kendall, how are you, buddy?
Hey,
Broke
Gary.
Spoke.
Long time.
What's up, Broke?
How you doing?
How you doing, Gary?
Hold on, where's my New Jersey girl? She announced that my Becky Snyder's
Where's
there.
the
What's
UFO
up,
story?
Becky?
It's coming, bro.
Let's
Come on.
boom,
I got it.
Durham.
You gonna close the show with
kidding
that?
me? Are you kidding me? Too much
Sarge,
going.
what's
So
up,
much going.
Sarge? My man Jesus.
Hey, Aaron, I want to play Solomon here because I think he broke some news
First name again?
in this.
Tom.
Les, how are you? Les Slavi. Chris D, what's up, brother?
What did I do with it?
I'm going to open with you.
Yeah. You can do it.
Hello,
I've
Mr.
lost
Robinson.
it. Oh, here it
Got
is.
behind us. Look at that.
Big Beard.
Your arms and his arms.
And Lorraine Donato. Rowena Riley. Well, we got to get you guys pumping up the like button over on YouTube, guys.
Pump up there.
And the Rumblers. The Rumble.
Lonnie Berkey, what's up, Lonnie?
Rumble. Yaddle doodle.
We're going to do a show and tell there.
Yeah, it's hard to get over here in the live chat when there's people here. So.
Where's Glenn? I want one.
Yahoo says, hey, it's Chemtrails Nolan.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, anybody doesn't think they're real,
Good times.
do yourself a favor. Go vote in the 2020 election.
That's good. Try to take that pose.
Ticked off like the shirt.
Picture of that posted on Facebook. People went crazy. Like, where'd you get that? I'm like, America First Warehouse.
Bill Moore says, thanks for discussing the trades. You
Great
got it.
artwork in this place.
Yeah, that was a good point.
I got a buddy who's putting his kid through high school and had to get a tutor every day. The kid was the worst student ever. He's like, I don't know why I'm spending all this money on tutors. This kid's going to be wearing a jumpsuit like me. It's like, what am I doing? Just pull him out of school now.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the kid's a grease monkey, and he's good at it.
Yeah. Maybe. We need to service people, people who do all that kind of work. It's very
Nana
important.
B and Kenor 12, what's happening? West Tex wants to know if I'm borrowing your shirt, Slick.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Vinnie Mac here at the America First Warehouse, live from Studio 6B. We got Joe the Box running around with a flag. It's a big day over here. Look. Here's Tom, and here's President Trump. I think Tom was the model for this amazing painting of President Trump. He got some serious Delgado guns. You know what I'm saying over here, Tom? Delgado guns. Yes, there's a patent. That's a copyright. Don't go mess with Delgado
legs.
on that. So, Tom, tell us what's on your mind.
So, I think, like most of us,
just takes the mic.
He's got something on his
He's got Vin in a full Nelson.
listen, like most of us, and like you guys were talking earlier, when these things like Epstein, which us as people in the MAGA movement were hoping for complete transparency, which was promised to us, and we see clearly that we're not getting it, it almost makes us lose hope. Because we've been wanting the deep state to be taken down for such a long time, and now that we're not seeing it happen the way we want to see it, and listen, I'm still hopeful, but it's been a tough week. Yeah. But the one thing I understand more than anything else is that if we try to put our trust in our government, our elected officials, whoever, we're going to be disappointed a lot. But the one person that we will not be disappointed if we put our hope in is Jesus Christ. Without a doubt. If we put our hope in God, that is the one person who will never let us down. And we as Americans need to come back to what this country was founded on. And that was a belief and a life for Christ. And that's really what I wanted to say today, and I think it's really important.
Yeah, I think that's amazing, and I think we all share that. And faith is back in this country, folks. It is back, and it should have been back. Tom, thank you, man.
Amen.
Back to you, Big D.
Yeah, amazing. Right on, Tom.
On point.
I'm not going to disagree with him, by the way.
No, of course not.
That was the greatest thing
No, you're not.
That was the greatest thing I ever heard, Tom.
You will love Jesus when you get a suplex.
In case you see me later after the show, that was the greatest thing I've ever heard.
It
was good.
He just gave Vin a
I'm just glad he didn't say Allah Akbar. I would have had to convert to Islam.
Tom and I are doing a charity arm wrestling event in about 45 minutes, so we're going to go, baby.
Okay.
I got a shot.
I'll put $1 zillion on top.
$1 zillion. Delgado guns, man. I saw those.
And whether Vin likes it or not, he's going to be playing piano whenever he says.
Oh, yeah. Tom,
with one arm.
Right.
Anything.
Our own John Solomon obviously was out in the heat of all of this, what was going to happen, breaking news, lots of speculation. But I think John made some news in not only his reporting, but kind of breaking down. And by the way, how about the timing on this? John Solomon has, I believe, and I hope it sticks, Kash Patel was already scheduled before any of this happened today to be on Just the News, No Noise, on Real America's Voice, Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. So, and I have no reason to think that's not going to still happen. So there will certainly, I'm sure, be news there if Kash goes through with it and comes on with Solomon. But Solomon broke all this down tonight, and I want to play it. This is a little longer of a clip. It's about 4 minutes, but I think it's really worth watching it because he breaks down why it is that Kash Patel is going nowhere, and nor should he. Here it is.
And I think next week, over the next 10 days, the base who's been wondering, where's all that accountability? They're going to get some big surprises over the next week concerning where the conspiracy began a few weeks before Crossfire Hurricane was open and when it ended, all the way in 2024, when they were still trying to pursue Donald Trump to keep him from winning the presidency. There's a big case that's been built by the Justice Department and the FBI. It's been masked by a lot of this infighting and drama and soap opera stuff, but the truth of the matter is MAGA base Americans are going to be happy when they see where this is all heading in the next few weeks. Kash Patel is going nowhere. I hope Dan Bongino isn't going anywhere, but I do think he's going to take some time over the weekend to think that through.
So hold it. We got 3 huge leads there.
Yep.
Number one, I want to go back. You're saying the 10-year conspiracy against President Trump to try to thwart his first term, steal the second term, and basically surround him in his second term or third victory.
Yep.
That has been an ongoing investigation that the FBI is already doing.
Yeah.
Does the
There's
Brennan
been a conspiracy case. It was hinted at. In fact, it was hinted at, Steve, in some of the media reporting, but I've got to confirm there's a conspiracy case that was opened that looks at this window as a very large window. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a special prosecutor named by Pam Bondi in the next week or two.
Oh.
And why does this become significant? Because you don't have to necessarily then bring the grand jury or the indictment in Washington, D.C., where the 90% Democrat jury pool probably won't convict even if they had a murder. It allows them to go to some place like Florida. One act of the overt conspiracy could very well be, Steve, that they raided President Trump's Mar-a-Lago house with false pretenses, and then you can bring the grand jury in Florida. You can bring the indictment in Florida because an overt act of the conspiracy occurred there. Maybe several overt acts of the conspiracy occurred there. You don't have to have a all-blue jury in Washington, D.C. that has Trump derangement syndrome. So this has been going on behind the scenes. I've been working on this. I decided tonight to get some of this out there. I've been talking about in my show. This is a really big deal. Now, who becomes a special prosecutor? How far-ranging is it? That's to be determined by the scope memo that a Pam Bondi would write. But there is some work on a scope memo that's been done already, and there is an enormous opportunity for those of us who've been calling for accountability to see a path to it for the first time, a legitimate path, not smoke, not mirrors, a legitimate path to accountability.
Also, let me just ask you on this conspiracy, does that mean, because people talk about the statute of limits, and you can only get Brennan for perjury, lying to Congress, that you can't get him for everything involved in Crossfire Hurricane, everything involved with the nullification project, the Russian hoax. Are you saying by being a criminal conspiracy that's still ongoing that we can go back in time 10 years and still get Brennan and still get all these guys for more serious charges of conspiracy of a coup d'etat, sir?
That's how conspiracy cases can work. You can charge a series of events into a larger conspiracy and go back beyond the window of time that the normal statute of limitations for any single crime occurred. And keep in mind, there's also, prosecutors can make a very powerful argument that if you didn't know the crime had occurred because it had been hidden, the statute of limitations could actually reset for a period of time. But I think the most likely scenario is a large conspiracy case, and it starts in the middle of July 2016 when John Brennan walks into President Obama 2 weeks before, or a few days before Crossfire Hurricane's launch, and said, hey, we have this intercepted information that Hillary Clinton has authorized a program to make it look like Donald Trump's a Russian spy and Vladimir Putin is helping him. President Obama and Brennan knew before the FBI opened up on that information that this was a dirty trick by Hillary Clinton. That would be the first overt act, and then it would carry all the way through Ukraine impeachment. It could go into the FBI refusing to look at the Chinese interference in the 2020 election as one of the overt acts. They didn't want to help Donald Trump, so they ignored a potential counterintelligence threat. It allows for a very large series of events to be wrapped into a single conspiracy and all of them to be brought into the indictment.
Wow.
Well.
That's huge. That's huge news.
That is.
And what catches my attention is John saying, I decided tonight to bring some of this out, the reporting we've been doing behind the scenes. That's the most connected man in Washington, D.C., some would say.
He's amazing.
And there's a reason that he is unloading all of this tonight. Yeah. Because this is not just by happenstance that he all of a sudden said tonight, I'm just going to go make all this news and announce all these things that have been going behind the scenes. I don't know about that.
Yeah, it's interesting, but you know what? You know what's going to happen? I'm sure they're going to find a judge somewhere in California or Maine who's going to issue a worldwide injunction that says Trump has to allow the conspiracy against him to continue.
Well, they're not
because that's what's going to happen.
They're not going to do that against a spousal. They're not going to do that against a spousal prosecutor.
Oh, no, they're going to get an injunction against special prosecutors ever being allowed to indict anybody who doesn't believe what they tell them.
I don't know about that, but that's
great stuff.
It's funny.
It's fun.
That's
how it works.
That's how it works.
That's pretty big news from John Solomon.
And then Tom's going to give somebody a wedgie.
I think it's fair to say he is the most directly connected to Trump as any other newsman. He's got Trump's confidence completely, and I think everyone knows John Solomon is as serious a journalist as there is. So,
and the friend of the show.
Not only friend of the show, but he actually told me outside this is his favorite show when he was here last fall. He said Studio 6B is his favorite show to watch.
And you were his favorite on the show.
Right. No, he didn't say that. He just said it's his favorite show. That's a given.
He also said you're the best dresser he's ever seen. Oh, it's amazing.
He only gets his sports from you.
Well, that I wouldn't say. But he said this is his favorite show, Studio 6B. I don't know why, but he said that.
Well, what else is going on in the news headline-wise?
Well, we got
now, did you see Fran? I don't know if you have a mic or you can talk, but Fran said something that there's something going on with the 911 system.
That was the breaking news I had for tonight. Statewide in Pennsylvania, they're experiencing a statewide 911 outage affecting services in all areas. The Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency reporting a 911 outage, disrupting systems across the state. Because of the outage, 911 calls, the normal ones, may not go through. In case of an emergency, members of the public in Pennsylvania are told to contact their local 911 center directly. I don't know how they're supposed to do that, calling 911?
Just load your weapons.
Right. So that's what was breaking from Pennsylvania. Seems to be I don't know, Paul, maybe a little run through. Who knows? But that's what's going on in Pennsylvania.
Well, that's what's good about Pennsylvania is everybody's armed there, so it's not like New York where you're not allowed to have a pellet gun.
Yeah,
right, and water gun.
Yeah, so that's what's happening in Pennsylvania, and again, it's throughout the entire state. So if you are running into problems, I guess they're saying contact your local emergency facilities through their direct lines, not trying to reach them through 911.
All right. We'll keep an eye on that. What else is going on headline-wise?
Well, Damon, if you must know, I don't know if you realize this, but there's been a dearth of UFOs regularly spotted in restricted U.S. airspace.
I'm sorry, there's been what?
A dearth. That means a lot. That means many, more than one, of UFOs spotted in U.S. airspace. Believe it or not, a phenomenon that's been showing up all over the place. As a matter of fact, CBS ran a special on this, and I believe also CNN.
Very credible organization.
Must be true then.
Running a story that the U.S. military.
Did Rachel Maddow do anything you throw in there too?
I don't know if she was involved, but the U.S. military actually caught UFOs flying over restricted airspace in Afghanistan.
Oh, sure.
Back in 2020. Here is cut number 4. If you'll allow me to,
do I have much
share?
Yeah, beam me up. Let's
check
go.
this out. Cut number 4. Check this out.
This is a UFO. Your own government, since this was filmed on the 23rd of November 2020, labeled it UAP disc navigating through clouds. It was a reconnaissance platform near the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan.
Sure.
CNN cannot independently verify Corbell's claims, and the U.S. Department of Defense declined to answer CNN's questions about the validity of the footage.
Yeah, so there you have it.
They can't independently verify anything.
Looks like the same guy who had the Epstein footage in Adobe Premiere had that in there too.
Right.
As we found that out today.
Well, that was Jeremy Corbell. He was tasked with trying to enhance some of that video that was shot.
He used a glow-in-the-dark frisbee.
Well, no.
Come on.
Shut up.
Good job enhancing that.
Yeah, right.
No, it looked totally real, Delgado.
It's totally real.
You're onto something, I think.
The U.S. government caught it with their own military equipment. They made the find. They found it.
Oh yeah, they found it right.
I'm going to give you a wedge.
All right, live from studio. Live from Studio 6. We'll wrap it up on a Friday night from the America First Warehouse right after this.
Man.
Oh yeah.
Slick, this is the best part of that for me. I was watching the big screen there, but I was watching Damon's reaction to that. If we would have had a one shot on Damon's reaction to that clip, it was as funny as anything else. What did we just watch?
I know.
And I'm excited. He tells me it's a good clip, and I'm pumped because I love that stuff.
Wow.
And I'm like, that sucked.
Yeah, it's like Lost in Space. Will Robinson. Will Robinson.
Right. I saw the string. I saw the fishing line holding the
Dr.
sauce.
Smith.
You know, I was like, what the? Damn you,
good.
Delgado. You come me all pumped up.
I think he does it just to get my reaction sometimes.
He digs for these things. I'm telling you.
He does it just to get my reaction.
He does. It's his first thing on his mind when he wakes up. Is there a UFO video today?
Delgado.
I'm doing it, Aaron. I'm over here.
Oh, he was invisible.
You're not going to sing for us, are you, Sammy?
Is somebody coming up? Who do we have that wants to ask a question?
That would be ELO.
Volare.
Oh, Aaron's dad. He's back.
Okay.
Here we go.
Ask
There you go.
about
Spill the
Aaron and
beans.
Paul, that was a great clip.
Aaron's dad. Hey, tell the tractor story.
Ask about Aaron as a kid.
Well,
How much time do we got?
You got the
we
whole
got all
segment.
day.
We got the whole segment we could do about Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about what little Aaron was like, scampering about the house.
Rick, that's enough. I wish you guys could hear her. She's so mad.
She's freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't know, nobody in the world has a better laugh than
No,
her.
her laugh is
we
awesome.
need to pipe that laugh into
That
the
laugh
show.
is priceless.
Thank you, Paul.
Oh, Aaron has a mic now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
You get a bag of Skittles now.
I decided to turn my mic on.
Okay, we like that. You're not allowed to turn it on in the next 5 minutes.
No, I'm
Keep
gonna
it off.
keep it on now. I'm gonna turn off.
Yeah, all you hear is.
Fran, make
sudden the
sure
show
Aaron
goes
doesn't
dark.
interrupt this very fine interview coming up.
Yes, it's
No,
going to be.
I have
it's
the
gonna be
switch on the
great.
microphone
You
here,
just
so
push the
I can
buttons and
control
let
my
Fran
own
worry about the
microphone.
It's going to be wonderful. We're going to get a nice in-depth background story.
No, that's okay, Rick. We don't have
It'll
to
be
do that.
wonderful.
Rick, that's okay.
How?
I appreciate it, but no.
All right. Live from Studio 6B, Real America's Voice on a Friday night from the America First Warehouse here on Long Island, New York. We appreciate you guys joining us, watching us at home, watching us online, and of course here live in the studio. We have a special guest who's made a couple of the shows. He's a repeat offender, back, and he's wearing one of my favorite team shirts. I appreciate it. This is Aaron's dad. We'll just call him Aaron's dad. Aaron's dad, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic tonight. How you doing, Rick?
I am well. I understand there are some things that you want to talk about that don't concern Aaron, so we'll move past Aaron, and we'll go to exactly what you wanted to talk about. I guess some of the world events, including the stuff coming out of Russia, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've kind of neglected what's going on with the president and Putin this week. As a matter of fact, he says that he's very upset with Putin and the whole thing with the Ukraine. And I was wondering how you guys feel about that.
Yeah, well, that's a great point because that was something that Linda from Long Island also brought up earlier, talking about how this Epstein thing, it's red meat. We love it. It dangles there. We can play with it. But it does distract us from the other big things, the big wins, and the other things that are happening, right?
Right, absolutely. Damon, how do you feel about this?
It's a good question. And I think that President Trump, as I said, I think this week, during one of the shows this week, I think President Trump is kind of rethinking. You know, we went from I'll have this thing fixed before I get into office, and after the election, in between election and January 20th, I'll have it stopped. And then that obviously, he kind of said, well, I kind of said that facetiously. I didn't really mean it. And now obviously he's worked on it. I think President Trump is realizing, and we've talked about that President Putin in past has made no bones about the fact that he would roll through Ukraine if he could and continue on. And people push that off as that's never going to happen. He said if he could do it, he would do it in past speeches before on the world stage. So I think President Trump, not that he thinks that's going to happen, but I think President Trump is realizing that this is a harder nut to crack than he thought it would be, which is why I think you're going to see on Monday, you're going to see, I think, a lot more support for arming Ukraine in a way that maybe they haven't even been before with some other ally partners around the world than I think most people thought maybe we would be doing at this point. Because I think Trump is very, when he says he's not happy with Putin, I think it's not only not happy, but he's realizing that he maybe can't control it as much as he thought, and that really infuriates him.
Right, yeah. Okay, great question by Aaron's dad, a great patriot. Throw it back to you guys on the stage.
All right.
All right, thanks, Rick Delgado. Vin, what do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right. First off, I think Trump probably felt going in, I have a good rapport with this guy. We've talked a few times. I think I can talk some sense into him.
Yep.
And it's a logical approach if you think you can do that. And I think what Trump has finally realized is that's not working. And maybe he's a lot of the things that people told me he is. Maybe I didn't see that as much. And now that he sees it, he's going to come out and play some hardball. And it's what we need to do. We talked about this last night on the show. When you're dealing with thugs, and you're dealing with crazy people like the mullahs in Iran and guys like Putin, the only thing they respond to is a sledgehammer across their face. And you got to go hard. And I think that's where Trump is now, has to change his tactic. I think that's what we're going to see. A sledgehammer.
Yeah, I'm going to push back there. I don't see Putin as crazy. I see him maybe as sociopathic in terms of he's heartless. But he's definitely not crazy. He's intelligent. He's KGB. He's well thought out. Crazy as Zelensky, dressing in drag, dancing around naked. That's crazy. He's crazy.
Right.
He's a puppet who got pulled into a war he had no business being in.
Yeah.
To me, this is NATO forces. This is deep state forces. This is war machine forces who are doing everything in their power to tell Trump, screw you, we don't care what you say or think or do. We're going to show you we have more power. NATO is now stronger than the U.S., and they're going to keep pushing and prodding. Think about it. When Zelensky came over, what happened the day before? We've talked about it at length.
Yeah.
The Democrat neocon wannabes were all in his ear saying, don't take his garbage. Don't listen to Trump. They subverted his power, his authority.
Big time.
If he had support from the ground level up through Congress, through the Senate, this never would have happened. We watched Macron. We watched European nations subvert. We watched all of NATO, essentially, subvert his will and his authority. To me, is the ultimate FU. Again, that is why I am America first. NATO is garbage. They are part of the deep state. They actually are they want to be the head of the deep state, essentially. It's all part of something that's bigger and grander, which will essentially and eventually, in my opinion, envelop our Constitution and essentially make our Constitution secondary to a global order. So for me, I think this goes way beyond Putin being a lunatic or a thug. He got blown up. They blew up his nuclear planes, and the attacks on him, they made it impossible for him to not retaliate. They picked a fight with a lunatic. If you have a hornet's nest at your house, do you put a stick in it a bunch of times? Or do you figure out a way to tactically take that thing down?
Right.
They did everything in their power to ruin Trump's negotiations. They essentially screwed him in every way they could. And I think this is the ramifications of it.
Here's candidate Trump in 2024, and this is what I think you're going to hear most likely on Monday.
For Putin to stop bombing
No,
Ukraine.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I know Zelensky very well, and I know Putin very well, even better. And I had a good relationship, very good, with both of them. I would tell Zelensky, no more. You got to make a deal. I would tell Putin, if you don't make a deal, we're going to give them a lot. We're going to give them more than they ever got if we have to.
Yeah, and I think that's what you're going to see Monday.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is that Trump prides himself on using those relationships. He says, "Oh, I know him very well. I know him even better." I think he prides himself on using that personal relationship to kind of help get things done, and it's not working, and it's starting to piss him off.
Yeah, I agree.
I think you're right.
All right, 7 minutes till the hour. Last segment of the show. Let's do a little more sports, and we'll touch on any other headlines we haven't. Slick, what's the wrap on sports? One last one of the night here.
All right, one more Friday Night Rodeo. Big D, we got to get to the rodeo. Calgary Stampede, which wraps up on Sunday night. We're in bareback riding. We We are Pool C, and we're in the second round. Garrett Shadbolt, 87.5 points on Calgary Stampede's Flapjack. Steer Wrestling. We got Holden Myers, 4 seconds flat, picked up $7,000 there. Saddle Bronc went to Brody Wells, 88 points on Calgary Stampede's Painted Heart. We're going to get tied down roping. The second round, we have a tie. Blaine Cox and Tough Cooper, 6.8 seconds. Barrel Racing, also Pool C. We got Casey Mowry, 16.74 tenths. Good time there. And last but not least, Bull Riding. And we're in the second round there. Luke Mackey, 89.5 points on Calgary Stampede's Tactical Era. And Big D, of course, we got Big Wimbledon tomorrow and Sunday, 11 a.m. tomorrow. You have Iga Swiatek and Amanda Anisimova, the New Jersey native, getting it on. Number 1, Amanda Iga Swiatek is going to be very difficult out. And then they got it right in the men's. Number 2, take it on number 1, Carlos Alcaraz, Yannick Sinner. We'll have a full report on Monday night for that, Big D. That's a wrap.
All right, sounds very good. Sports is brought to you by, of course, our friend Mike Lindell. LFS6B is the promo code to use. Glenn Beck, 5 minutes ago, my team has now filed a FOIA request for all of Dan Bongino's texts and emails regarding Epstein to Pam Bondi. My guess is those exchanges will tell us everything we need to know.
We got Tom Fitton doing FOIAs.
Yeah.
To me, is a rock star when it comes to journalism. Glenn Beck, to me, is one of the good guys.
And you know what? Maybe this is Trump's way of saying, you know what? Let's stir this. Like you said, we're going to stick some sticks into this and see what happens. And now everybody else is churning this up. Their hands are clean. His hands are clean. Hey, I was trying to say, let's move on. You guys want this? Here it is. Not my fault.
I like the cut of your jib.
One last thing
I like the jib of my cut too.
One last thing I want to bring attention to. Dr. Kirk Moore is a doctor who was trying to serve people during COVID who didn't want the vaccine. Biden decided to prosecute him, and so far Trump's DOJ is continuing that prosecution, and it's surprising and disappointing. And I hope that President Trump or someone will take a look at this. Dr. Kirk Moore, he should not be getting prosecuted. He should be getting awards for especially what we know now on what a sham this whole thing was with the vaccine. So, as always, we salute our military, active and active police, firefighters, first responders, EMTs, everybody on the front lines protecting us, all our truckers, all our farmers. Thanks to everybody here at the America First Warehouse. Thanks, boys, on the show. Aaron, Fran, great job as always. Most of all, thank you, live from Studio 6B audience. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you Monday night back in the studio, live from Studio 6B. We'll see you then.
Thanks a lot.